Hi, welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, and my compadre, Jimbo Goodman, is not in town. He's gone down early to sales. He's gone down to see Walter Bass and Carol and the whole gang, and he got away in time to have a winner too. Aldrich won for him. So I've got Little and Large helping me today. Warren and Sharzy have come in, and Warren's going to do the early part of the show. Warren, thanks very much.
No problem, Paul. Nice to be here. Thanks for the invite. Yeah, Little and Large. Let's see if we can have some fun.
Nice haircut, first of all.
Yeah, I've been tipping to my barber.
Yeah, that's doing a wonderful job,
Yes.
You know. You look like a bowling ball. But we're going to run through the three to follow, which is always the starting point. We've got some interesting horses here, some nicely bred horses that I certainly feel are going to make an impact later in the show. But let's get straight on then. Warren and I'll go through the three to follow for this week.
His dad, Distorted Humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another, wins the Derby. I'll have another in the Preakness.
Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Right, welcome back. Let's get on to these three to follow. And the first one we found for you was during the week. It was on Wednesday down in Cape Town, where Vaughan Marshall stepped out a very well-bred filly.
Very much so, Paul. She's by Captainel out of Secret of Victoria, and we all know what she produced, the Mercury Sprint winner, All Is Secret. And what a magnificent filly she is. There she is. She jumped from stall gate 1 and got into the race quite quickly.
Yeah, there was all the talk was about this horse. It's owned by the same ownership, and as we know, All Is Secret was a superstar. I remember her winning the Mercury. She's down the inside. She's getting pressed a little bit by Extra Dart, who had a bit of experience. But Warren, a bit of a low action, would you say?
Yes, very much so. I had a good look at her on the TV, and she's a lovely looking filly, but yeah, very low action. And MJ sort of just chases her up and keeps her into the race, but pure greenness, Paul. I think she's got tons of ability.
Yeah, the talk was that she could catch pigeons, and he asked her to run here. She changes leads, and Warren, from here on, the rest are out of it.
Yeah, no, you could see the rest were hung out like Monday morning washing, as they say. But the Secret was certainly out early in the week because the betting, early on in the day, the betting market suggested that she was the right one. There was a lot of money for her, and the Secret was out that she could run, and she certainly impressed.
Yeah, I was very impressed with this horse, Warren, because if one considers how good the sister was, it's a sparkling debut.
Yeah, listening to one of the owners in the post-race interview, he said, like mother, like daughter, Yeah. So, she looks to have an exciting future. And also listening to Vaughan Marshall, he hadn't sort of pressed her much going into this race. And, more to come, and she really impressed me.
All right, so that was our first one. That was on Wednesday down at Kenilworth, and great to see the sister coming through like that. But let's go and have a look at another very interesting baby race that took place up in Turfentine, and there was a lot of money for the favourite here. The horse we got for you to follow, and it's called Fursa. And it's a horse by Hardspun, an Australian horse from the Michael de Cockstable, a very strong stable. Gets beaten by Water Lily Lake, who looks like a superb filly. Both of these are going to be very good fillies in time, especially. Let's have a look at it, Warren. You can look about the greenness of the winner. There's the horse we've found coming out of Trap 5. The winner is towards, walks out the grey. Yeah,
walks out the grey and then is immediately at the back of the field. But First is out and the jockey gets it into the race. But look at the horse. The eventual winner, as you can see now, Paul, is really right at the back of the field.
Yeah, this is a well-bred filly. Both these front two are well-bred. Hardspun's having big group horses all over the world at the moment. So Michael found a very exciting one here. But no match for the run-on of the winner, Water Lily Lake. You can see the grey starting to pick it up now, Warren.
Yes, very much so, picking it up. But first is sort of, you've got first run on the other horse, and First makes a dash for the line and looks to be home there,
Yeah.
But here comes the Chris van Niekerk colours on the outside to really make a race of it. Even there you're sort of doubting, but now you can see that the van Niekerk horse gets up to win. But as you said, both very, very nice horses.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, the runner-up was by Hard Spun, who'll go a bit further, but the winner was most impressive when one considers how slow into stride he was. Keep an eye on both of them, but the one we got to follow was Fursa, because she's got another chance in the maidens. So let's see what that happens. Let's go on to our third one too. Now we're coming back to our province here. This was up at Scottsville on the grass on Sunday, and we picked out a horse from the Michael de Kock stable called Aloy.
A full brother to Loy.
That's it. And Aloy is very green here. You'll see the well beaten by the winner, but the way it walks out the gate, it did well to run a place. Let's have a look at Aloy. Here we can see Aloy covered, and you'll watch when it comes out the gate, it just doesn't know what to do. And Warren, early on, out of the race.
Completely out of the race, and the horse next door to it jumped badly and right across it.
Yeah.
So it didn't get a good start at all, Paul, as we can see right at the back of the field.
Right at the back of the field in the middle, and it's Anthony Delpeche. Let me get that out. Sometimes it'll come out a bit slowly, but it came out even slower today. Anthony has elected to decide to move over, and he's behind the eventual winner, Desert Fighter, who wins company. And Anthony keeps moving over to give this filly a bit of clear run. Bear in mind there was a bit of kickback.
Yes, and Master of My Dreams, the Julie Dittmer runner, showed all the early pace, but did start to fade. And there we can see Bonji getting hard at work at Fitri Hayes' horse, Aloy, and running on. And we've got to take into consideration, Paul, the going was very sticky. So for a first timer, you just never know how they're going to handle that surface.
That's right. It's getting a bit tight. They're running around, and the winners come through to win well now. Desert Fighter, Moneyman runs a good race, but Aloy doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. And down the inside, just keeps coming at them. And I think with the experience and lack of greenness, this will be a tough filly next time.
I fully agree with you, Laf. She really, this horse really ran well, and next time out, I'll be very surprised if he gets beat.
That's right. That's Aloy. So there's our third to follow. This one from the Michael de Kock stable as well. So there we go. The three to follow. Keep them in mind, and especially the earlier two we showed you. They really look extremely promising, and they're going to pop up again very soon. But let's go on to Blast from the Past.
Gates are open. Soft falling rain, pull it clear. Soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2,000 guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells. Soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's Soft Falling Rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
Olympic Jewel is in, ready to race. Gates are open. This time they're sent on their way. Radio Hit was slow off, lost 5 or 6 lengths at the gate. Bond Speed got out well. Bluffing also very quick to respond. And it's Bluffing and Bond Speed to dispute the lead in the early stages from Heir to Riches. Our Knight is racing up round them on the outside. Dance's Classique is being ridden hard to go up and join the leaders. Sidwell and Spanish Galliard are right there. Rip Curl is just in behind these, about 5 lengths off the leader, with Castleton along the inside. Olympic Jewel racing just in behind these, now about 7 lengths off the leader. Salvador's along the inside of that as Target 5 makes progress. He's going past horses. Then Gitano, he's racing some 9-10 lengths off the leader. Flaming Rock is just along his outside. He's quite in touch with them. Naval Guest is outside of these. Then comes Argent there. He's about 15 lengths off the leader. Evzone racing just in behind this one. Then Radio Hit now overcome that bad start. Racing up around these is Peregrine up on the outside, and Swift Fancy trails the field. He's 20 lengths off the leader. Dance's Classic now found the front and stretching the field out. Got away by 3 to Our Knight is racing in second. Von Spee up on the outside is third, with Bluffing back along the inside in fourth. Then Sidwell, Spanish Galliards going well just in behind the leaders. Then comes Heir to Riches. Facing outside of that one is Naval Guest, Target 5 further out in the field. They homeward bound in the Metropolitan. Dance's Classic says, catch me if you can. Straighten up the leader by 4. Our Knight along the inside making progress. Von Spee starts to close in. Bluffing towards the outside. Down the inside, Heir to Riches. Castleton, Flaming Rock hook to the outside. He's starting to close in. but Olympic Jewel looks a mighty threat in the centre. They're inside the final 200 and Olympic Jewel coming through to take it up. Flaming Rock is in hot pursuit along the outside, but Olympic Jewel is doing enough, and Olympic Jewel wins the Metropolitan from Millard. It's very close to the places behind that. Spanish Galliard dropping and
Well, there we go. 1991 Olympic Jewel. Warren, she was a very good filly. And listening to commentary, I know it's not a good quality commentary because it was many years ago. Some decent horses there.
Very decent horses, Paul. As you said, this audio wasn't too good and we were a bit deaf at the best of times. But yeah, Bluffing, horses like Bluffing came out. Heir to Riches, which is, we ended up going to America.
That's
Spanish
right.
Galliard, of course.
Who won the July.
Yeah, Gitano.
Gitano was and of course, Flying Up was another July winner. Who was that?
Flaming Rock.
Well done.
Flaming Rock, yeah.
He beat El Mufti that year. Always a horse that came from way off them, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Flaming Rock when I was a kid in 1926.
Yeah, that's right.
I always used to have a flutter on Flaming Rock. I enjoyed that horse.
Yeah, so Olympic Jewel came through and won it. We're building up towards the Met, and again, Warren, it's going to be a very big year.
It's going to be a great year. I see the crowds on course that day. I mean, as always at the Met, it's just to hear the crowd shouting and screaming. And
it's not far off now.
No, not far off at all.
Less than 2 weeks to the Met, and early fancy.
Well, look, I think they've priced up Legal Eagle. Legal Eagle, to answer your question, yes, Legal Eagle is my early fancy. Yeah. But I think they've priced this horse up a little bit short, Paul. I think 11 to 10 even money at some stage.
Yeah,
it's very short.
It is. I agree with you. It's short. He was very impressive the other day. Very good horse. I spoke to Arthur Marcus about it, and he said to me, "Wow, this horse surprised him a bit." So he could be one of those horses who gets better and better. A lot of Sean Terry's horses do. You see French Navy's been winning and they're getting better and better. But going to have the Snaith duo again.
Well, a lot of people...
Brett Crawford.
The Futura Legislate combination is going to be interesting to see how their selections go, the general public. But Legislate certainly ran a cracker last week. And yes, of course, Brett Crawford's got a run
Captain America.
Captain America. So it's going to be a humdinger, absolute humdinger.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a great race. And well, there we are. We like bringing you the blast from the past. And there was Olympic Jewel who came flying. Looking at the photo for a second, I think Spanish Galliard might just have held on for a second. But let's get back onto our next segment, which is Plum of the Week.
Presses over on the inside. New Hampshire comes out for a run. Gold Chest is towards the centre of the track and Wilbur on the inside. As they come down to the last 300 metres now and Protea Power takes it up. New Hampshire, Landcat, Amiga Onslaught on the inside. Stormatic also tries to get into the race, but it's Protea Power who hit the front. New Hampshire, Amiga Onslaught on the inside, then Stormatic. Protea Power still goes though, and it's Protea Power from New Hampshire over the last 100. Nothing in it. New Hampshire's coming powerfully now. New Hampshire got up to win it. Second, Protea Power, Amiga Onslaught and Stormatic.
Yeah, there we go. New Hampshire, our Plum of the Week, and Warren, it won a good race considering the ground was a bit dead.
Very much so, Paul. And it was also nice to see them coming from sort of the outside, inside, middle. But the word was out that New Hampshire had been gelded and come on from the gelding. And judging by the way this horse won, the gelding certainly seems to have done the trick. And I think there's more races for this horse to win coming up.
Yeah, New Hampshire, 7-2 available early in the day. The money did come for this horse. There was 28 to 10 on Interbet. You've got to get on these Interbet odds. They certainly are way above the starting prices and that. And getting a double for Dennis Dreyer. But well done to all concerned. That was our Plum of the Week, New Hampshire.
If you love soccer and you play the tote, you won't believe what Interbet has to offer you. Or the excitement of tote betting on your computer or your cell phone. It's simple. Choose your teams and your bets, work out what your combinations will cost, see how big the pool is, and place your bets. You can even track your bet live as it happens and get updates on your progress. It's all the fun of the tote on your phone. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at www.interbet.co.za and you could be a winner.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Current Affairs, and we've got Little in the seat now. Large is gone. KB Shea is joining me for Current Affairs and your call, where we're going to be going through emails. People have said to us we're taking too much time between emails and some of it gets dated. So we've got some emails. We're going to talk about some interesting points. But first, let's get on to Current Affairs. Okay, right. So let's get straight into it. Kev, nice to have you here.
Thanks, Lef. Yeah, it's good to be here. Nice to help out when I can.
Absolutely.
Goodie down in the Cape with Mark Bass and company. I see paying a bet to Grant Knowles this morning. I think they had a game of golf yesterday, and Knowles, he gave him 6 love. So
Knowles is a good golfer.
Yeah, I know. I'd be very sceptical taking
Jimbo
Knowles.
must realise he's not 42 anymore.
He likes to think he is.
Yeah. Let's just talk, because I don't want to speak football with Warren, because Warren wouldn't know Wigan from Toti. But at least you follow football now. You watch your boys, you got to win. You're a big Man United supporter, you got the tattoo on your backside, which a lot of people don't know. Kevin Shea showed Sir Alex Ferguson his tattoo. What did he say when he saw your tattoo?
Fantastic. He was very proud of me. He says, that's a loyal supporter for you.
Yeah, I thought he said bum jockey or something like that.
That was afterwards.
Kev, Man United, they're fifth. They're a couple of points off going to Champions League. What do you think?
Yeah, they've let a lot of points slip, as you've seen in the last 6 games. I mean, they had, I think it was 4 draws and a loss to Bournemouth. Jeez, done my head in. But yesterday's game was no different. I don't think they were.
It was a doer game. They had 1 chance and they scored.
Yeah, there was. I thought they were diabolical. De Gea saved us like you can't believe. He's absolutely got to be the best goalkeeper in the world now. One of the best.
One of the best, yeah.
He's saved them day in and day out. And Liverpool put 4 guys around Fellaini because they know the high ball is coming. He still got the ball. So and left Rooney on his own, and a striker, what he is, Rooney, he slotted it away, and our record's still clean at Anfield. When we go there, we punish him. But I mean, I think a shocking game for a side that's fifth.
The league's been tight. You know, the top 2 sides drew. When you talk about it, Arsenal, Leicester drew, Spurs and Man City won. So it's getting very interesting.
It's getting interesting. This is actually what the public want to see. But I mean, for a supporter, the guys are pulling their hair out. And I think what Arsenal go to the top now, don't they?
Yes.
Arsenal go to the top. So there's nothing in it. I think we're 5 or 6 points off them. If we had got maybe 2 wins in between.
About 7 off, yeah.
7, yeah. So I mean, if we had 2 wins, we could have been 1 off the lead, and things would have been happening. But I'll take the win because I've got a lot of Scouser supporters that always got lots to say now, and
they've been stum.
They will be very stum because I'm sure a lunch or 2 this week we will just square up with them. So, all right, your side 4-1.
Yeah, very
again,
good.
Scoring
very
goals,
pleased.
and overseas I saw Suarez and the boys. They're putting big numbers on 4, 5s and 6 goals.
Yeah, they're just
great
so far ahead.
Watch.
Arsenal got to go play them soon. So, but let's talk racing now. There were 2 races that were stakes races around the country. There are a few listed races, but the stakes races we're going to show you. One was in Gauteng and one was in Cape Town. The first one we got, and bear in mind these are from the 600 metre mark, the Scepter Stakes at Kenilworth on the 16th. Let's have a look at this.
Champere up the outside closest to her. Princess Royal just in behind those is racing next. Bichet is towards their outside. Fly by Night is in behind the leaders. Carry On Alice is now being asked to quicken up. She still has 4 or 5 lengths to make up, and Real Princess is along her inside. Cosmic Light still rolls in front. Princess Royal now pours on the pressure. Cuvée Brute towards the inside's coming home nicely. Champere is towards their outside. Carry On Alice is closing. She still has a couple of lengths to make up. Cosmic Light, Princess Royal over towards the inside. Carry On Alice is flashing home between runners. It's Princess Royal. Cosmic Light up the outside. Princess Royal stays on from Cosmic Light. Up towards the inside, we had Cuvée Brute back third. Carry On Alice.
Well, there we go. Very good race. Kev, let's start with the winner, Princess Royal, our Captain L, champion stallion. He just keeps doing it, Captain L.
Absolutely. Coming to the fore, they always do these big stallions. But Glenn Cotson, too, is coming in a vein of form. Won a feature race with Stewie Randolph last week.
That's right.
Another one now. Anthony Andrews getting the ride. You see him giving a little fist pump past the winning
post. Nice for him, eh?
Absolutely. These guys, unfortunately, the Greg Sheens and the big jocks are out injured. Yeah. And they pick up these rides. But a great win. As you say, main chance. What a weekend. They had 5 winners plus they're on fire. They just keep doing it.
Absolutely, main chance have had a fantastic year. If one considers the Phillies, Guineas,
the years. If you go
Silver Mountain,
if you go down the year, and they've still got Silver Mountain coming up in the $1 million, which I think.
But Glenn Cotson said he's alarm clock right with the sales coming up. Don't forget, there's the big CTS sale comes up this week down in Cape Town. The Cape Premier sale is massive money, quality horses. Glenn Cotson's tweaked it right.
Tweaked it right. I'm sure he'll be in there with confidence and trying to get another one of these. And it's very important. But as you say, Duncan Howell's filly ran a great race, completely drifted in the betting, 8-1 to you could have got any price about it. And the favourite that Carry On Ellis, they backed it like they knew the result already. It was 18 to 10.
It wasn't a run. If one analysed, I don't think she's missed the first 3 in her sprints, and she wasn't beaten far, but she lost 4th on the line. It's just, I think, slightly below par for Carry On Ellis.
Absolutely. No disrespect to Sean or anything like that. This filly has had a hard campaign. She's been going a long time, and they've got to fluff their lines sometimes, different tracks and everything. But they did. There was a lot of money for her, and I was watching the betting, and it looked like the right filly in the race. 6 months ago, if you put the same field together, Carry On Ellis would be odds on.
And it was odds on. It just didn't fire.
And
touching on Duncan Howell's Cosmic Line, brave showing.
Brave showing. Nice, Duncan. I don't know the reason why he took her down there. I'm sure somebody would
probably
know,
for this.
For a companion, also with the same jurisdiction. I'm not sure, but same jurisdiction comes up in the feature race next week. It's going to be so interesting.
Yeah, there's some great racing coming up now in the heart of the season.
And the sales down there, I think Cape Town.
$1 million this weekend.
$1 million, fantastic.
Silver Mountain. Charlie Laird's got one exit here.
Exit here is going down there. Drawn one, Anthony Delpeche. Yeah, it's good.
What's Arthur riding?
Arthur's riding.
I don't know.
Not Radar, that's in the Derby. He's riding another one for the boss. Yeah, he's
riding for the boss.
I'm not actually quite sure. It was on the tip of my tongue, but it slipped me.
James, Kev, while I'm just finishing up on this field, Fly By Night's a Group 1 winner, ran a decent enough 4th, because you've got other races coming up, big sprints. Cuvée Brute, good run?
Good run. I think maybe a touch on the short side to Real Princess. I don't think fired as well. She's a lovely filly, but has got problems, and Dean will be aiming onto something special, I think. But I'm sure she won't fluff her lines.
Yeah, so Kev, all in all, well done to Main Chance, well done to Captain L, and of course, well done to young Mr. Andrews and Glenn Cotson. They brought this horse home and won a good race. The other feature that we're going to show you comes out of Gauteng. And this is the London News Stakes. It's a Grade 3 race. And here we saw French Navy come out again. Let's have a look at the last 600.
Pretty much from the start, Master and Commander, black sleeves and cap is a length away in second. Then comes French Navy with a length and a half back to Mac Delago in the hoops, and Kalua Castle, that is inside. Then we go back to Judicial and Bezanova. Past the 550, flying the flag, feels pressure from French Navy. They just about level. Then comes Master and Commander. Mac Delago in the middle of the course is trying to emerge. Further back to Kalua Castle, Bezanova, Judicial. 300 meters left to go, and French Navy got given the go-ahead. He's left flying the flag in the dust. Third place is Mac Delago. Kalua Castle is in the gold sleeves, but it's French Navy with a 3-length lead. Flying the flag, Kalua Castle, Bezanova and Mac Delago all running for minor money, because Klaas tells French Navy's won it. Second to Kalua Castle, flying the flag third. Then came Bezanova, Mac Delago, Judicial.
Kev, he's been a very good horse, this French Navy. He won the Daily News. He's one of the best horses in the country. And it just goes to show how strong Sean Terry's hand is.
Yeah, very good. Just to go back on the race before, what we thought Anton Marcus was riding, he's riding 7th plane for Dennis Dry. The Group 1 also.
Multiple Group 1 winner.
Multiple Group 1. He hasn't fired in Cape Town. I think his best race was in the Guineas. We drew right on the outside, and he ran 4th or something, but he hasn't really hit the spot yet.
But anyway, $1 million when they announced this race, it's gone up in value because of our rand.
Yeah, I think it was 10 million there now. I think it's
18.
I heard on Friday night, I think they capped it at 15 million.
Okay.
That's what I heard. Listen, I'll still take 15 million.
Yeah.
It's
60% of that.
60% of that, you're out of it, and the agents will all be smiling. So.
Yeah.
But back to this race, Lef, I thought a good ride from Arthur Marcus. No pace in the race. Also likes to be given a chance. Set it up second, took over on the right horse. I would have done the same thing, took over early, but what worried me about him, he was running all over the show. He ducked out left into flying the flag.
Wasn't this race moved from a week ago? I think because of inclement weather. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the London News...
No, 100%. Both these were those races that were abandoned.
Yes.
But just the way he ran around, then he ended up running all the way into the inside race, but won a good race. And as the betting suggested, from 5 to 10 to 1 to 3, there was only one other horse in the race that was Mac Delago, went from 5 to 1 to 7 to 1, which I thought was very short odds for a horse against 1, 2, 3, but the rest of them in the betting weren't even in the race, and the result speaks for itself there.
Yeah, Kev, just talk about it. Count Dubois. Now, there's a stallion that has thrown Group 1 winners constantly, and I'd say never gets the greatest of mares, but very good stallion.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, when I started riding for Duncan House, he had quite a few of them, and they started firing slowly, just winning their maidens and that, and then they've started to get to a stage now where they're winning feature races and group races. So he has in the last...
Zaitoon, I think, opened up for Waiho many years back. I think it was the first Count Dubois Group 1 winner.
So yeah, so they are firing now, and that's very nice.
This is a good horse, James, and Kev, bred by James.
James Armitage, yeah. No, fantastic. And I don't know where he'd be going next. Are they going to take him down to the Cape Town for the Met, or I'm not sure.
They've got a lot of
it'll be
options.
very interesting. Yeah.
Just remember, they've got the ruling favourite in the Met.
100%. And Terry's got, Sean, he's got such a broad spectrum of horses he can choose. He's got 2 and 3 in a race, and a nice position to be
top
in.
Horses, Gold Onyx. He's got a few down there. Kev, those were the 2 races that we managed to show you around the country. Let's talk about big news coming out of America. America every year, Kev, they have the Eclipse Awards, and it's a big plus if you can win the Eclipse Award. Strangely, American Ferrer, 5.
Absolutely deserves it. I mean, for what he done, he was absolutely phenomenal. You saw him, he destroyed them in just about every race except for the one where he fluffed his lines a little bit. But the Triple Crown winner, I mean, absolute world-class horse. And when you speak to a guy like Mark de Kock, who's seen champions his life, he goes there and he wow, this is like a special horse. But when I watch him and I see his splits, he does grass splits on the sand, on the dirt, for 10 furlongs.
Yeah.
It's just unheard of, but he just goes, he destroys them, he breaks their hearts. And they try and send pacemakers and that to go and race with him. They don't even make it to the straight. And
they don't even make it. That's right.
He deserves the
I
award.
saw a clip of Soumillon and de Kock listening to you on TV and cheering you home in Dubai.
Having a nice time. They were having a bra, the good old bras in Dubai this time during the weekend, watch a bit of racing, get the boys together, throw a couple of prawns and a bit of meat on the bra. A barbie, yeah. And Christoph and the boys, Mark always spoils us there.
So, well, that's good that they're there and they're in good voice. And Christoph's one of the rare jockeys, isn't he?
Great rider. I think he won his 5th or 6th French championship. Unbelievable, yeah. He's got a good job. He gets around. He works all season in the rain. And then when that's finished, he's off to Dubai. As you know, he's retained by Sheikh Mohammed bin Khalifa Al Maktoum. So.
All right, I'm sticking with the Eclipse Awards. Bob Baffert won his 4th one. Now, Bob Baffert's, again, a guy who's been at the top for a long time.
Yeah, great man. I saw some pictures of him. He's a celebrity over there. There's no doubt about it. Wherever he goes in America, everybody knows who he is. He's great at his job, and he produces the goods year in and year out. I think even when you were in America, Bob Baffert was a big name.
Big name.
And now look at him, that's 20 years down the line, he's still a big name.
The award for the winning rider, now you have been a jockey, I don't know if you've probably raced against him, Javier Castellano, 3rd straight year.
Yeah, now
good rider, Kev?
Yeah, very good rider, American rider. He's been to Dubai a few times, getting the World Cup and that. Third, it's a great achievement left, because you must understand they race there every single day of the week. And 3 months in a state, and then they pack their bags up and the valets and they move to another state, as you know, and they carry on riding. And your chances of accident are so much higher when you're racing every day, 7-8 days a race on the dirt with horses that can break their legs and all that too. But a great jockey and a great feat, 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, talking about great feat, Beholder won the another award, 3rd Eclipse Award, Kev. Unbeaten last year.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. All you can say, the trainer's really placed him in the right places, gone for the right races, and it's produced the goods.
Yeah, Kev, one interesting thing that the 2-year-old, the champion 2-year-old was won in the Eclipse Awards by a horse called Nyquist, who's by Uncle Mo. And the reason I mention that, there's one for sale in Cape Town this week, an Uncle Mo.
So I'm sure that...
be a bit of interest?
Yeah, there'll be a bit of interest, and the top guys who follow the breeding and that would have known that, the Jean Malherbers and the Azzy clan, and that they'll be following, they'll be looking and seeing, there is poly tracks around now, so those horses will go in the poly.
Yeah, that's right, they're doing very well, the Uncle Mo's. And let's have a look at other news. Gulch died. I'll just put that down. 32 years of age. Gulch has been a great influence in the stud book. And
that. Definitely.
Now, staying with jockeys, because I always like to throw the jockeys at you, Kev. Your mate Kieran Fallon. Now, he's gone to ride on the Californian circuit, Southern Californian circuit, and he made a comment the other day that I think he's left himself wide open. that the Southern Californian riders are better than English jockeys. Big statement.
A hell of a statement.
Ryan Moore will be pleased to hear that.
Ryan Moore, he's in Hong Kong, got a little 2-month contract, so I saw on the weekend a lot of places. No winners, he hasn't opened his account yet. But funny enough, Kieran, I spoke to him about 4 months ago, and he can't get a ride in England from being a champion jockey.
What do you mean he can't get a ride? Did he retire?
No, he didn't. He went to America. He's already done one of the other stints for 3 months.
He never retired, Kieran?
No, he never retired. He had done a stint in America, and he came back and he tried to break in, and he couldn't get in. He can't get rides, and I don't know.
But he was a champion, Kev. He's
great rider. Great rider. I think maybe the guys have lost a little bit of maybe respect or something from the guy, and he's going to go back. He was at one stage looking to throw the towel in. Sure. And you get a woman like Hayley Turner, done very well too. Same story. Leff, you know what it's like over there. The travelling and
I haven't ridden in England, funny enough.
But I mean, you know what the jockeys do.
Oh yes, yeah.
The travelling, the hundreds of miles, and the hours you spend on a road, and the money you spend on petrol.
You did it, Kev. What was it like?
Yeah, I enjoyed
Arduous.
it. Yeah, I was there for a couple of months. I was doing it for a bit of fun. I had Mark behind me, all my mates were there. I loved it, you know.
Yeah.
But they do it year in, year out, and it drives them mad. It catches up with them, and if you can't make ends meet, you got to try and do something else. And Hayley Turner, a champion, female rider, as far as I'm concerned, very much rides a lot like Karen Fallon as well. She threw the towel and she said, "That's enough. My heart's not anymore. I don't want to travel anymore, and the success is not there anymore."
So Fallon's on the Southern Californian circuit.
Yeah, I think. He loves it out there. I must say, he does enjoy the American circuit.
Good rider, Kevin. Top rider.
Great rider. A great judge of pace. You get past him in a race, you've done well. He's like Robbie Sham, used to get to the front and you just couldn't get past him.
Okay, Kev, I just want to touch on a couple more things before we finish this segment. Vancouver, the top horse in Australia by Medaglia d'Oro, is now going over. It won the slipper. It's now going over to be trained by Aidan O'Brien.
That's fantastic. Aidan O'Brien, yeah, I remember Medaglia d'Oro. He was on the World Cup when we were out there. A massive horse. I think it was 560 or 580 kilos. I looked at him in the parade and I said to Mike, "There's no way a horse this fat can win a race like this. You've got to be fit and strong." He romped home.
Him and Pleasant Colony, I think, and Victory Moon was third.
Pleasantly
Perfect, or something like that. Yeah. Two massive, big horses, two Americans.
Yeah, Americans. Yeah, so that'll be good. Aidan O'Brien will get down. He'll get down to the bottom of this horse. Champion.
Because Coolmore bought it for stud.
100%. They don't.
A couple other things before we go, Kev. This week, don't forget, it's the Cape Premier sales down there. Get down there to Cape Town if you can. It's a wonderful sale. It's their big one. There's going to be massive horses there. There's some fantastic international pedigrees as well, and the international people will be over. And Kev, not to forget, in February, Val de Vie have their sale.
Yeah, that's another special one.
Yeah, they started last year, Kev.
On the polo field.
Beg pardon?
On the polo field.
Yes, fantastic. So they got those. So put those down. In the middle of February, we've got that. And well, that's current affairs. We'll be back with your call where we have emails to discuss. Right, welcome to another edition of Your Call, and we're going to do mails. We've been asked to try and get onto the mails sooner because some of them get dated if we don't get back. So they're not that many, but there's some interesting ones, and I'm going to go through them with KB Shea and try and answer a few questions. We did look at a few of the questions that were posed to us and try to get some answers for you as well. But Kev, let's get straight into it. And the first one is from Tyrone Anthony, and he calls himself Tiebreaker. And I'm going to read this out, Kevin. We can just talk about it. And I have addressed it. All the best for 2016. I hope you have many more winners. Anyway, I just need you to help me make sense of this. I buy the Mercury every Friday because it covers the whole weekend's racing. However, I've come to note the previews written by one person, Warren Linferner, and then the selections in the form grid by another person, Richard McMillan. That is so not on. The person who writes a preview should be the person filling in the top 3 in the grid selections. You get Warren writing one thing and Richard telling you another thing. I met Warren and he said it was sorted out, but I see it's still the same every weekend. This needs to stop. Warren's doing a great job. Tiebreaker. Now, he's got a point, Kev.
Yeah, listen, he's 100% right. You can't write something on the one side and the guy tip on the other side and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's a conflict of interest.
I spoke to Large Warren, and he's going to take it up with Andrew Harrison. He had met this guy. He remembers it. He spoke with him. And Andrew Harrison's been away. He's come back. I think he's had an ip-op.
Ip-op, yeah.
Yeah, he's having an ip-op.
Doug's having his ip-op today.
Is Doug having one as well?
Yeah,
that seems to be the trend, eh?
Seems to be the trend. So we might all have to have an ip-op.
Ip-op. Have an ip-op. Get yourself back. But Tyrone, Warren has taken it up with Andrew Harrison, who heads the department, and they will be sorting that out for you. But I agree. Very good point, Tyrone. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, the next one is from one of my great mates.
Our boy Gaza.
Our boy Gaza. This is from Phil Chiver, who is Gaza. He looks just like Gaza. And he says, "Hi James, Gaza here. I have 2 full DVDs of racing from 1985 and 86 era if you would like to use them. Some top footage of SA greats as Wolfpower, Modelman, Yomani, and the Bull Brand Stakes. Even Afrikaans commentary if you like. Have you heard Afrikaans commentaries?
As a good friend, I'm Henny Peterson.
Yeah. Henny Peterson of die buitekant.
Yeah, die buitekant, on the buitekant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, Gaza, I think we'd love to get them, yeah. And
we've got to get an Afrikaans commentary out there just to remind people of what Henny Peterson was like.
He was a great man for racing, yeah.
He says, let me know if you'd like them, and I'll get them out for your blast to pass, and we can get to use them. Cheers from Gaza. Gaza's one of the great racing personalities, one of the great personalities on the planet. He had a top filly with me, the London News filly. What was her name again? I've gone blank. Can you believe it?
She was by London News, I know that.
Yeah, Oracle News.
Oracle News, that's right.
Oracle News.
Yeah, no, great guy, good friend of a lot of jockeys, Striker Straydon.
Yeah, he's big.
Loves his racing. Man United supporter, if I'm open.
No. He's one of the Scousers.
Is he a Liverpool supporter?
Yeah, you won't hear from him for
sorry,
a few days.
Sorry, I thought you had more brains than that. But anyway, yeah, no, listen.
So that's the groin, as he's affectionately known at, Gas Groin. Well done to the groin. Okay, let's move on to our third mail. We're going on. This is interesting. It comes from a guy who was on the panel last week. If I'm not mistaken, Sydney Castle was on the panel.
He was with James. Yeah. He was on the.
Now Sydney, you and I know Sydney back. We first met Sydney on a ski trip many years ago. Kev, do you remember?
On the slopes in San Juan, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Dr. Sydney was then.
Beg your pardon?
Well, he's Dr. Sydney, isn't he a doctor?
I don't know.
I think he's a doctor.
I don't know. But let's hear what he's got to say. Thanks for the mail, Sydney. Yes, it's been a while, but I've been meaning to air this for a long time. I believe the race industry can do a lot better in their method of naming their everyday races. The names coming through are really tame. Come to Lunch Handicap, or 8 December Maiden Plate, and many more, even worse. Sponsors' names are fun, but it's the unsponsored races he's talked about. Why can't such an educated industry be more creative and come up with better names for the races? Use horses' names from the past, or last year's winner of that race, or whatever. I look at my picture library of my winners and cringe with the lame names of races. Does not make them look important at all. And we all know our special every winners. So please, rock the boat there and let's get some attention to this. Good point.
I think a world-class point. I must be honest, I've been into people's houses before and they say, hey, Kevin, you rode a winner for me. What did I ride? And I went and I got a picture in the pub or something. You have a look over there. It's the
Indingui Maiden Plate. Or let's have samosas or something.
Let's go for lunch. That's or the 8th of December. It was run on the 12th. No, I think that's brilliant. I think somebody should be even a guy like Warren Linferner or something. in between. Find out some names, even last year's winners or something. I can't agree with you more.
And submit them to the race car division?
Yeah, just give them a chance to. I'd hate to do that job, Lef, because there's so much racing, and it's just people think it's racing's on Friday night and on Sunday, and then we got to throw a meeting on Wednesday. They don't know how much goes into just with. Never mind the trainers doing nominations and jockeys and declarations, but up all the information, the tipping services. There's just so much goes into it. But somebody should be designated that. Give us a choice of decent names. But I can't agree with you more. Some of the names are absolutely pathetic. Now doing TV work too. You open the race, you see it.
He cringes when he looks at his gallery.
Some of them are really below par, and some of them are very good. Like you say, you'd get the Sea Cottage. If you name it after one of the restaurants or something, it would be nice. But a very, very good point, and I think that should be addressed.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Sid. Good to hear that you're still keen and following up on things. But now this is a twofold one, Kevin, that I've got here, and it's very, very interesting. And I'm going to read it out because there are more than just a few salient points to talk about here. And it comes from Pravin Chetty, who's the general manager of the Mpunzi complex. Now, the print is very small. I'm going to put my glass on to read this because I think it's a very good email. He says here, "Good day, Paul and James. Firstly, I hope that it's acceptable to utilize these mailing addresses. I couldn't get hold of your Winning Ways addresses. Secondly, forgive that fact that this response is to comments made on Teletrack on your show before Christmas, as I was on leave and couldn't access the relevant info. This mail is prompted by comments made by Hassan Adams on Teletrack regarding the lack of charity from the mining sector and the disappointing fact that you guys chose to, without seeking clarity, quote and agree with him without verification. My disappointment further manifests due to the fact that some people mentioned in the Adams interview vis-a-vis the Becks, the Slacks, Oppenheimer, made their fortunes on the mines. There are others, including Peter White and even myself, though nowhere near the eminence of the doyens mentioned. My small bit in my personal capacity can be verified in my long-standing support of the Phumelela Christmas function for orphan children every year. Further, is the fact that I and thousands of African racegoers regard you two as being intelligent, witty and focused on the perpetuation of the accurate dissemination of information. To this extent, and knowing James and you were a golfer, having a cursory chat with you at the old Vodacom Mashi in Midrand a good few years ago, I refer you to the attachments RE, Good Morning Angels, demonstrating the charitable nature of the coal mining managers. The initiative was set up by just 12 golfers a few years ago at the annual SACMA, SA Colliery Managers Presidential Function. The effect of this is 130,000 collected in 2015. Our own personal funds. However, this pales into insignificance when one considers the third attachment, considering that 2 of the 4 mines this group ran at a loss last year due to declining commodity prices and onerous contracts with local electricity producers, and you'll understand the significance of mining's impact on the social environment. Note that we don't even capture the smaller donations, i.e. less than 30K. Including donations of books, uniforms, blankets, meals, and cash donations. We even do burgers and jumping castles sometimes, just not at the races. Guys, I urge you to maintain your integrity by always reporting and seeking the truth. Something you guys become legendary for. Thanks for taking time to read my mail. All of the information is verifiable through the annals of the Department of Labour and Mineral Resources. Pravin Chetty. Now, Kev, before I go on to the second page, it all came about when Hassan came on the air, and Hassan, as you know, he donated generously. He put all these orphan children, him and his daughter brought them to races with jumping castles, and they put a lot back. And he basically posed the question that, what about major industries like mining? And he used mining, I think, openly, not just to attack mining. What are these people doing? We're a big industry, but we're giving a lot back.
Yeah, no, Lef, I actually remember that very clearly when it came up, and as you say, Hassan does. He's given Cape Town a new lease of life.
Yeah.
And his daughters started that little charity thing. It was so small in the beginning, and a few people used to come to the races. They now got Burger King, as you know, Hassan's involved there. That's come on board now. They get the mayor there. It's a very, very, very big thing. And I understand where he's coming from, the mining sector, and as this gentleman says, last year the mining sector took a knock. the mining sector
took put the money up.
Yeah, but the mining sector took a knock because of the workers, not because of they couldn't produce the goods. The goods were always there. It's just that the workers knocked them back. So they still put the money there, and it's important maybe that Hassan should know that they have put the money in and they do things, but maybe not on the race course.
Yes, but to other charitable ways.
They do it in Turffontein, and they must probably do it on their mines and that too. They must probably also got lots of kids that also need a little bit of help, and the blankets and everything else that goes in. I understand that we all understand that a lot of people do charities, not on the race course, on their own charities.
Correct.
You go to
Starts
golf.
At home.
You go to golf days. Yeah, starts at home, and when you go to golf days, and it's a charity for some reason or another, and that doesn't get mentioned at races or anything like that. There's just so many different charities. So I understand exactly where it comes in. But Hassan did ask the question, and I think maybe this can answer
I think it was a very good question posed by Hassan.
Absolutely,
and he got a response from Pravin Chetty. But Kev, I'll sort of take it on because there's an addendum to this, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, again, it's a small print, but let's go for it. And this is very interesting, guys. My name is Wilco Ace, and I'm a council member of the South African Colliery Managers Association. This association represents the interests of the South African coal mining professionals. We have an annual presidential weekend during which we have a golf game for golf playing members. It has become a bit of a tradition that I find my fellow coal miners in aid of a charitable cause. I have decided that this year it will be in aid of the Jacaranda FM's Good Morning Angel. This went down very well with my fellow SACMA council members, and as a council we have decided that we will meet rand for rand the total amount collected. As we were only 21 golfers, I thought we'd do well if we got about 6,000. This would then imply that we donate about 12,000 to GMA, which is Good Morning Angels. I eventually collected 11,150 from the golfers. On hearing of this, the other SACMA members and suppliers, the coal mining industry decided to join this effort. The amount is currently just over 60,000, excluding the council contribution. Now, this is the paragraph that I really like, Kevin. I would really like us to identify a suitable cause to benefit from this approximately 130,000 donation, preferably involving children. I also do realize that this amount, in the bigger scheme of things, is not as significant and trust that it will make a difference somewhere. You're more than welcome to contact me on my mobile phone. Kind regards, Wilco. Now, that is outstanding, Kevin. They came forward and saying, listen, we'll put some money up. We're just showing good faith, and outstanding.
No, that's actually quite heartwarming when you think about it. And for him to say that, come guys, I want to do it for children. What I can recall, Durban doesn't do a Christmas thing for the kids. We have a Christmas day and that.
East Coast Radio does something.
Do they do it on the race course I'm talking about?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just talking about on the race courses. Cape Town do one on the race course.
Hawkins pushed one.
Maybe they didn't have.
16th of December, Graham Hawkins has pushed one through.
Is it? I must be honest. I don't know.
They bring the kids.
Yeah, Cape Town do one. Joburg do one. Julie Alexander.
We should promote it more here.
Maybe this guy should come down and say, listen, get a
I,
person like Jill Simpkins. She's world class at putting things like this together, and say, listen, guys. We're going to have a little Christmas here. So even if it's a night meeting, we can start here. I know it's not the right thing to do, overworking, but I mean, we're prepared to do it for charity. We get here at 12:30 or 1, and we can carry on and let Father Christmas come and little gifts and for the kids, and they can run around. We can have a little bra or something.
Hazel runs the Social and Ethics Committee. I'm going to speak with Hazel, but I'm going to speak to the CEO as well, Michelle Narek, and let them take it on.
That'll be perfect. I think what a great initiative.
Wilco is fantastic letter, and these are what, as Kevin says, heartwarming letters, and we will follow it up. We will keep in contact with you, and we will make sure it goes to a wonderful cause through Gold Circle's management.
Yeah, just while I've got you on the spot. Do you watch a bit of racing from Zim this weekend?
Yeah, I watched quite a bit.
Went down short head finish and they put the wrong result up.
They put the wrong result up?
Yeah, they showed us a photo of the photo finish, and the inside horses got up and won, and they've given it to the outside horse number 1. But reading in Sporting Post,
is there an uproar?
There's going to be an investigation, and on what I've
seen. In your opinion, the judge called the wrong horse?
The judge called, well, as you know, when it's a short head and you can't see the other horse line, they use the back mirror.
Yes.
Because that normally reflects back. And when you look at the back mirror, if you look at the front, just as they go past the post, it looks like the horse near side has won. When you look at the mirror, it's gone the other way.
Oh, that's
so
there's watch the space type thing.
Yeah, watch the space. I'm sure there's going to be it's got to be a turn the result surely for the owners and the trainers and the jockey. But What about the punters who's
gone.
really been paid and the money's gone? That's going to become null and void.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's one. So watch that space. And another thing, Lef, I'll just let you know that Sean Cormack, as you know, we haven't seen him in the saddle for a long time. I had a chat to Sean, and he's been suspended by his doctor for 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah, I thought it was 3 months. It's 6 months. As he says, the shock that he got, never mind anybody else, that they made such a harsh decision that he's never... They've suspended him on him having seizures. He's never had a seizure. He's never had a problem. He's never had anything. They must have spotted something, and they've given him 6 months. And a shock.
Is something that's going to be treated with medication?
Well, he's getting a second opinion, and he's going through the thing. But he will not be riding for 6 months. Which
one of the country's top riders. Must come
as he said, he was so shocked he didn't even know what to do. But he is seeking medical advice and second opinions, and to sort this problem out. And hopefully he's going to be back in the saddle. That's from
What
Sean,
about birthday boy?
Birthday boy Jared Samuel, he's doing very well.
Is he?
Apparently, it'll be another 2 months before he gets maybe on a horse again or starts riding work again. But he's got no repercussions from the fall. He's had to do the time with when you get your brain bruised or a head injury like that. It's his birthday today, so I'm sure he'll be up and around.
One of the good guys in the industry.
Very good, very quiet, underestimated, lightweight rider, produces the goods. So hopefully in 2 months we've got him back. So there's two jocks, and as you know, we've seen Greg Sheen with a terrible break in his ankle, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that your blood flow in your ankle is so minimal. It just takes longer to heal. You saw the guys like Calvin Judd. And he's had an op, and I'm sure that the professional he is, he'll be doing the physio in the swimming pool and stimulating it and getting it going and try and get a speedy recovery, because he's got a great future.
It's good, Kev, that you're in touch with what's going on with the jockeys, because you do represent a few of them down here, don't you?
Absolutely. I'm the chairman here in Durban, and whenever there's a problem, I like to go into the jockey room, or I go to the staffs or speak to Graham Hawkins or Michelle Narak and ask them. I go straight to the guys and say, listen guys, this is the problem. When there was racing was abandoned the other day, 20 minutes before or half an hour before the first race, I went to Sean Parker and Graham Hawkins, and they explained to us the exact problem, why the problem had been caused. I walked in there and told the guys were happy as Larry. They were quite shocked. They thought it was going to be a delay for about an hour or two. So guys, it's postponed until tomorrow night. Get in the tea room, have something to eat and drink, because all the guys have been taking weight off, and then worry about it tomorrow again. But we were fortunate enough, there was racing the next day. We never saw Arthur Marcus come back. Unfortunately, he had to stay. He was at the Terry Yard, French Navy and Co. But Anthony Delpeche rode his first 3 or 4 rides in Joburg, got off 4, and came back and rode the night meeting. So it was congratulations to Anthony for doing that as well. So.
All right, Kev, there's one more thing from a guy called Brian Jones, and I wonder if he's a musician. 2 things you wanted to know from Gold Circle: what's happening with stakes increases, and what's happening with their problem they're having with the bookmakers. So I spoke to Michelle Narak about it. I gave him a call and I said, what is a call? He said, Gold Circle's trading very well. They had, in September last year, they did have a small increase, but they have increased the meetings from 112 to 123 meetings. So the big increase there. They are looking early in this new year to get the stakes up again, to answer that question, Brian. And the second one, with the bookmakers fight, he said, at this stage there's a lot going on, but all the litigation gets rolling in February. And watch this space. So that's the call on that, Kev.
That's fantastic, Lef. I think the bookmakers thing will be resolved.
Yeah.
I honestly think so, from the bottom of my heart. And for the guy who wants to know about the stake increases, that's fantastic. If you've got an extra so many meetings and you get an increase as well, so it's a double whammy for the jockeys, trainers, and owners. So you've got more meetings, and if you get a percentage increase, it's more money for everybody. So it might not sound a lot.
But it helps.
It is a lot. It does help, and you got more meetings, so it's more turnover, so it's more everything. And watch this space, as you say.
Kev, that's it. We're all set. Cape Sale this weekend, $1 million racing, a lot of good racing in the Met. I did ask Lodge what he thought would win the Met early. I know it's 12 days out or so. What do you think is going to win the Met?
Well, the way they've priced up, they've priced up like they know the result.
Yeah.
But for a horse win the Queen's Plate, short of his distance, underdone. Brilliantly ridden by Anton, as I said last week. He normally comes from behind. Anton jumped him out. He had him in front and set him up second and won a good race. I'm sure he'll come on for. He is definitely the horse to beat French Navy. But we need to look a little bit deeper, because A lot of my friends have said Futura will be prime on the day. Yeah, I thought he was a little bit below par last week or the week before. But if you look at the form doesn't lie. They all ran around each other, except for Noah from Goa. He just proved he's
top three-year-old.
He's a top three-year-old. But Legislate,
Futura,
Captain America, I thought was very unlucky. He fell out the pens, came from last, which he normally sits up there or goes to the front, and ran fourth. Ran on very well, but he might have learned something from that. He's definitely a big run in the Meta. And Joey Ramsden's also said Andrew Fortune rode finished on top of them where he always does. So it's quite tricky at the moment now. It's
time to study.
It's time to study and watch the betting because the shooties aren't mugs.
Kev, thanks very much once again for your input. Jimbo Guffman, who's probably having a game of golf today, he's down with Walter, will be back next week to join us. And thanks very much. That's your call.